Hello and welcome back to Dreamwalker Tarot. My name is Dawn and this is the February reading for Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Mercury. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. So this month I'll be working with the Star Tarot spread in honor of Aquarius season. Let's get into the reading. The card that came out in the position of what's currently happening for you this month is the Ace of Cups. And that is an indication, Libra, that you are open to experiencing compassion and love, potentially starting a new relationship, or working on a creative idea, just being in a very creative, energetic space. This could mean kind of like bringing like a creative project to life, but also this is also an indication that some of you might be thinking about starting a new life itself. So conception, having a child. So that might be something that you guys are looking to work with this month with this energy. Some of you might be actually having a baby or creating a baby, starting a new project, open to just being emotionally available and emotionally connected. And so making new friendships, starting new relationships. And that is kind of like the energetic imprint we're seeing with the Ace of Cups for this month, which I mean makes complete sense, right? Like we are in February, we have Valentine's Day, and so there's like this energy of just like this, really flowy, receptive, and like a really just a soft, energetic space. You might also find that you are kind of navigating your spirituality, being more in flow, feeling more connected to spirit, and just having just being receptive and open to paying attention to signs and symbols, or just noticing signs and symbols more, because you're kind of like completely open to the energy of reception and water is a conduit for messages. And so that might be your spiritual activity might be heightened this month. You are ruled by Venus, and Venus is like a heavy influence this month during like Valentine's Day and all of that. And so I feel like you're just like really in a really receptive place, but also not just being receptive, but also extending yourself, being more compassionate to others, being more understanding to others, and giving giving as good as you get. Also, in your current emotions, the card that came out is the World card. And so that is an indication, well, the World card in the reverse. And that is an indication that for some of you, there is like a hesitancy to be open to this flowy, soft type of energy, being open to love, because it feels like this is something that you've done before, and you might not necessarily have like a good feeling about being that open or being that receptive due to things that you might have experienced in your past. And so there's a hesitancy to kind of open yourself up to that risk, right, of putting yourself in a vulnerable space due to past issues or past things that have happened to you. It might seem that even though you are open to this energy, that there is an inability to kind of close that out into something that turns into something more than just the beginning stages, right? Like it might start off good, but then it never actually pans out, moving forward. And so for a lot of you, I feel like in your emotion, that is what you're kind of like afraid of, or that is what keeps you from going down that path, because, due to fear of old situations or things just kind of starting good and then they just kind of like get stagnant and kind of fall apart. And so that is what is in your current emotions this month. I am using the Grand Tableau Lenormand deck to do clarifications, and the cards that came out for you to clarify the world in reverse are the Dog card and the Stars card. And so even though you're kind of hesitant due to past relationships, the dog card and the star card symbolize that you are really wanting that, right? You want to be able to kind of close a cycle out and step into this into something that feels good, that feels natural. The star card indicates that you still have a hope for this, and then the dog card is a symbol of, the loyalty and the devotion. So you are still open to it. You are still wanting that. You just don't want to deal with an ending that, or being in something that is incomplete, or something that doesn't progress into something else outside of the beginning stages, or you are like, you don't want to deal with anything superficial. You want something that leads to a commitment, or leads to something more than just something shallow. The card that came out for your beliefs is the Page of Wands. And so there is a sense of like doubt, of being able to kind of move forward with something, or whether this be creatively, or whether this be, like I said, in terms of like your romantic life, or because you're kind of, I don't want to say damaged, you're kind of hesitant due to, like I said, your past situations, right? After going through situations where things start out one way and they don't necessarily end, or progress in the way that you thought it would have, I feel like there's a general sense of like doubt, or just being pessimistic about where this thing will go. And so this is in terms of relationships. Like I said, I feel like you've gone through a lot of setbacks, or issues in the past that have kind of have you a little bit like you just might not be feeling it, right? Because you've been through it before. They all start out good, and then they don't end good. If is in a position where we're talking about your creative projects or your creative ventures, I feel like you are giving up on an idea that you've been working on, because the ideas might not necessarily be coming the way that you want them to, or the outcome of this project might not be going as well. And it's like you feel like you keep doing or trying the same thing over and over again, but it doesn't necessarily pan out. If this is for those of you who are trying to conceive, then it kind of feels like you either you're trying to conceive, but it's not working, so you're not getting pregnant, or you're getting pregnant and you're not you're suffering from miscarriages, or like you're not able to actually bring your child into the world. And so there is like a real sense of just feeling very pessimistic about the outcome of a new start. And so you want to be kind of careful about that, because sometimes when you kind of put that energy out there, you basically manifest that that negative outcome, because you really don't have that much hope. But I feel like some of you do have hope, because the star card did come out before. I feel like you might be kind of psyching yourself out to kind of avoid disappointment by, kind of preemptively anticipating it not working out, but, wanting to be surprised, or wanting it to work out, but just kind of bracing yourself for the final outcome. And this really is a way to kind of like self-protect yourself emotionally, to kind of put like a little bit of a shield around you, which is, I mean, if you're in this moment, with the Ace of Cups, and you're being open and receptive, like that shield kind of like blocks it a little bit. And so that's just something for you to think about. So the clarification for the Page of Wands is the Letter card, the Ship card, and the Stars card. So again, there is some sort of hope here. Some of you might be waiting for some sort of communication from someone specifically. And so you might be waiting for someone to reach out to you and communicate with you regarding this relationship, or getting some sort of award letter, like maybe a diploma, getting something that lets you know that you are successful in a venture that you are kind of waiting to close out. So this could be, like I said, if you're trying to conceive, you're actually waiting to get results of a pregnancy test, or you're about to get the results of a pregnancy test. For some of you who were actively working on a project, you're waiting for some sort of award letter, some sort of funding information, possibly being able to actually finish college and graduate. And so you're kind of like waiting for some sort of communication in regards to that. If you are in the arts, I think you are kind of trying to explore different ways of communicating a message that you might have tried to communicate in the past that you were unsuccessful with. The ship card is really about exploration, potential travel. So some of you might be waiting for like your passport, or waiting for money to be able to allow you to travel. And on the not like and on a non-tangible way, some of you, like I said, might be open to exploring your spirituality, getting in tune with your spirituality. And so basically I feel like there's this thing where it feels like you're kind of waiting for something with bated breath, right? Something that might not have happened in the past, that you might have started in the past, and so now you're doing it again. And so you're kind of like waiting for the conclusion of that this month. At the center of your current emotions is the Six of Cups, and that's just basically what is kind of informing the rest of the reading. And the Six of Cups is an indication that you're kind of like living in the past, right? So a lot of these fears that you have are due to, like I said, old past hurts, old issues, old things that you're kind of like still dwelling on. And so there's an indication here that you need to kind of navigate away from kind of ruminating over old issues or old hurts, and being able to move forward, especially if you're being offered an Ace of Cups. You might want to focus on what is in front of you, as opposed to focusing on what has happened in the past. Even though the energy of the Five of Cups is not present when we have the Six of Cups here and also the Ace of Cups, the energy of the Five of Cups is here. And so that is an indication that it's like you're crying over spilled milk, or focusing on the past, while there are offers around you, and you might have an offer there, but instead of focusing on what you do have, you're focusing on what you lost. And so there is an essence of losing like your innocence, or losing something in your childhood. Like again, this is for some of you, this is you losing an actual child. And so that energy is present. And it just seems like you're having a hard time moving forward because you are stuck, like, kind of going over things in your mind. And so for some of you, this is, you're kind of waiting for someone from your past to reach out to you so that you can have a fresh start with them. And so you're kind of waiting for that. The clarification cards for the Six of Cups that came out is the Sun card, the Key card, the Lily card, and also Crossroads. And so that is an indication that even though you're in this like space where at the center of all of this is you kind of like living in the past, you are coming to a crossroads here, where you are feeling like, okay, I need to decide what I'm going to do. Am I going to move forward, or am I going to remain where I am, just kind of going over the past over and over and over again? And so with the Sun card, there's an indication that you want to be successful in all of these endeavors. You want to, like I said, you might want to have a child. You want to complete this project. You want to be successful. And so the key here is to allow yourself to really kind of tap back into your old ways of being hopeful, being generous, sharing of yourself. There is a 2 here, a 222. Some of you might be seeing 222 as angel numbers. And that's an indication that you need to hold on to faith, to not allow yourself to kind of like be damaged by old situations or past hurts to the point where you have no hope or faith in the future and what that could bring. And so that's kind of, like I said, at the center of this thing is like you're at this space where you're like trying to make a decision about moving forward. How do you move forward, and what do you hold on to? What do you let go of? And just really trying to tap into the pure nature of, this is about relationships, but also about sexuality, and being able to combine love and sexuality in a pure way to kind of create the dynamic of, purity in a relationship, but also really tapping into the connection aspect of our relationships, but also connecting to the connection aspects in, conceiving, or being open to conceiving, and understanding that once you let go, you'll be able to create what you want, because you're not blocking the flow. You're allowing things to flow naturally. And also for those who are working on projects or creative ventures, that is pretty much the same thing. Like, you don't want to block that, your creativity. You want to be open to receiving what it is that Spirit wants you to receive, and being able to, to see it for what it is, and not be focused or dwelling on the past. In the unconscious, and that, what is hidden and that will eventually come to light, is represented here by the Eight of Swords. And so the Eight of Swords is really talking about like self-imposed prisons, right? Is the idea that sometimes what you think can turn into like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so this is really just a matter of looking at the negative thoughts you have about being able to complete things or complete cycles, and really understanding that you have everything that you need to complete or to be successful with the things that you're trying to create. You just have to realize that, right? And so, like I said, you are coming to the stage where you're at a crossroads with that. And so if you don't realize that is necessarily what you're thinking it is, it is on a subconscious level. I feel like ultimately you'll start to realize that a lot of the things that you think that are going to go wrong will go wrong, because you're actually creating the environment for that. And so this is an indication that you need to kind of get rid of your self-limiting beliefs, and realize that there is always a way. You just have to kind of like think your way through it, or put yourself in a position to remove the blindfold. Again, with the Five of Cups, is not being able to see what's being offered to you, is removing the blindfold and being able to see, where you're at, and kind of making a decision about how to move forward, and to kind of navigate out of, you feeling stuck, or you feeling like you can't complete a cycle, or you feeling like things don't necessarily end the way that you want them to. Yeah, the Eight of Swords is being clarified here again by the crossroads and then the Ring card. So this is again coming to like a crossroads, trying to make a decision. And so some of you might be kind of battling with the choice of whether or not to get married, get engaged. But more so than that, with the literal ring, we're talking about dedication and commitment to something. And so if you are kind of like stalling on your commitment level with something, I feel like you're going to be kind of like moving into the space where subconsciously you're going to realize what it is that's causing you not to be able to commit, or what's blocking you from being fully invested, or fully committed to an idea or a person, or trying to finish something and being successful with something. And so these cards are just an indication that you are coming to that space where you're going to be making final decisions about like your commitment to something. In the position of your hopes, your dreams, and your fears is the Eight of Pentacles. And so again, this is the fear that you put in everything, you commit to something, and then it doesn't work, right? You see this person at their workbench, and this is a card of like putting in that work. And so I think that ultimately the fear of it is repeating a cycle of failure, repeating this process of putting in all this time and putting in all this energy and being open and not having something work out that you really want to work out, and kind of repeating a cycle again. I feel like that is kind of ultimately your hope and your fear. Like, you don't want to go through that again. The Eight of Pentacles is being clarified by the stork, the bear, and the house. And so this is really like, the stork is talking about cycles. It's talking about change. And I think so for most of you, the combination of these cards is an indication that, you know, you're wanting to change certain aspects or behaviors of yourself, specifically when it comes to your home. Like I said, this could be an indication of getting married, but really setting up a sort of tradition where, you know, you're dominating, or you're just practicing being dominant or in control of the patterns and the cycles in your life. And so there's a little bit of resistance to change, like I said, because, you know, once hurt, you know, it's like hard for you to necessarily, you know, trust that you won't be hurt again. But I feel like you're trying to institute some sort of dominance and control over your own life and the way that you navigate your changes in your life. But there is an indication that you will be, like I said, you have the crossroad card came out twice for you. And so again, you're at the crossroads. So a lot of you might be making a decision about where you want to move, where you want to live, who you want to marry, if you want to marry, if you want to be traditional in the way that you live your life, but really just trying to take back some sort of control over your life and over your decisions that you make moving forward, making better decisions, being really in control of the process, but really navigating towards change here with the stork card is really about change, or about progress, about you know, like ending cycles or changing out cycles, like I said, specifically when it comes to your home life, your home situation, and the traditions that you follow, particularly like, you know, whether that be a spiritual tradition, or just, like I said, in a traditional marriage or a non-traditional marriage. And so you're just trying to figure it out. And the final card, which is the outcome of the situation, is being indicated here by the Justice card, which is you, right? Like, the Justice card is your core card. So I find that ultimately, after all this back and forth in your head about what you want to do, how you want to do it, like the cards are indicating that you will come to a space where you find balance between learning the lessons of your past and kind of using them to inform the way you move forward. But kind of, like I said, still being open, but really not allowing yourself to be too vulnerable while still participating in the things that do make you vulnerable, if that makes sense. So like I said, there is a lot of hope here for you, and you are hopeful about changing, but I feel like that you're taking small steps. But ultimately, with the Justice card here, you will kind of be back in balance. Ultimately, you will be back in flow, and you'll figure it out. You will be speaking your truth about what it is that you want, what it is that you desire. And like, ultimately, again, with the card for the bear, it's really about creating boundaries and setting up some dominance over your life and the people that you allow into your life and into your space, the people that you choose to work with, the people that you choose to create with, whether it be like business partners or like a partner in terms of having children. I feel like you are going to be very clear about what it is that you expect, how that you want things to happen and to move forward, but ultimately getting to a place where you are successful in the things that you want and being able to create the things that you want and bring them into your life. And so this is like a really good ending. Thank you so much for listening. Please comment below and let me know how this is like, manifesting in your life. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for post notifications, and come follow me on my socials. And thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you soon, Libra.